What's your name?
My name's Asia.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
How do you identify yourself?
Transgender woman. There's probably a lot more to it than that, but I don't really say that part out loud.
Okay. And do you wanna include your sexuality or no?
No, I kind of feel like that's redundant. Most the identity things for me always feel kind of like I'm trans and I'm this and I'm that and I'm this, when most of those experiences are colored almost entirely by the one experience of being a trans woman, I
Mm.
guess.
Okay.
This sounds really pretentious, but what I'm saying is I'm just not, nobody's reading all that. You know, if I say everything like I'm this thing and that thing and this thing, nobody cares, dog.
Mm. Okay. Tell me the story of how you discovered yourself and came out.
This is gonna be a yap fest because, you know, in a way, I never had one singular coming out experience.
Mhm.
It was incredibly complicated, mostly because I have trouble being honest with myself and my needs and wants. I'm better about it now, I hope. But yeah, this is gonna kind of be a yap fest.
It's okay.
So I knew there was some off about my feelings towards sex and gender. Like as soon as I understood what those concepts were, I like to think gender as a concept and like sexuality as a concept weren't things that I identify with. More so, those are things imposed on me in a sense. Like there was a point a long time ago, probably before I was like in grade school, where I would have a crush on a boy or have a crush on a girl, or I would think about dressing a different way. Not that I had a chance to, but I would think about it, and that's all it would be.
Mm.
But I mean, I knew something was up around the 10 years old when started thinking Loki from Avengers was a little bit attractive, and maybe I liked wearing this Peter Pan costume that was a glorified dress and fishnets just a little too much.
Mm.
I didn't really get to the gender part until way later, like way later. But like gender, it was like fifth grade. I'm like, huh, Loki from Avengers is hot, and I was like, huh, men in general are a little bit too attractive to me. And at first, I assumed I was gay. I thought it just didn't make sense to call myself bi because I was just like, something in me was like, I want to be really effeminate all the time. And people might make fun of me, but they'll question it less. And I was like, huh, I'm just a flamboyant gay dude. I'm gay, I'm flamboyant, I'm all these things. That didn't last very long. Well, how do I say this? In my own mind, it didn't last very long, but speaking on like just like publicly, it lasted until I was almost a senior in high school. And that's just sort of how I presented myself, and as just a flamboyant gay dude. Eventually that changed into me just trying to like sort of like tone it down a little bit. but I mean that didn't really matter because like I've always been had people question my gender. Like sometimes people think I look, hey, are you a man or a woman? I've had that question me asked of me since I was in like the 7th, 8th grade. Mostly because I dressed like a homo all the time. Like H&M skinny jeans that were clearly from the women's section. And it was just because the men's ones didn't fit right. I was totally lying. Giant pink sweater that made me look like the gayest person alive. But anyways, it was little things like that. I was like, I like wearing pink. I like being frilly and feminine, but not in like the literal sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of like had questions about it, but I was like, I don't have enough conviction for that to be like real for me, and I sort of just like pushed it to the wayside. And then the motherfucking pandemic hit. I say the motherfucking pandemic hit because I was dealing with a lot. High school and middle school were not fun times for me. I came out to my parents. My parents have always been somewhat accepting. My mom and I, we had a little bit of troubles at first, but that's like when I was like coming out as trans in high school and stuff. But I also wasn't a great person to be around those times. I just was dealing with mental health and being a teenager. Not fun times, to say the least, getting bullied. And so my social experience coming out was not necessarily me telling people, it was people assuming that of me, and then me trusting people with that information and then using that against me. That's how I ended up getting outed in middle and high school. Told somebody and they were just like, yeah, hey everybody, this guy's a fag. And I just had to deal with that because there were only 82 people in my middle school. And all 82 of them knew. With the exception of like 5, they all treated me like shit. So, but high school came around. My high school wasn't bad. My high school experience wasn't as bad because I was almost 6 feet tall at that point. So like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Yeah, I'm a flaming homo. Yeah, I dress weird. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do gay shit all the time. But they ain't go whip my ass. But like around like the pandemic, I know I'm like not going in chronological order, so it's kind of hard to like understand what I'm trying to say. But like around the pandemic, I was dealing with a lot, and I had a lot of time to myself. And what sort of came of that was, they them pronouns. He him pronouns don't feel all that great. So I was like, yeah, I'm a they them. But I was also like, by this point, I was already on the like angry teenager who just read Marx for the first time sort of wave. So I was just like, yeah, gender's fucking stupid. We should destroy the gender binary and light it on fire with fucking gasoline or whatever. And I still think that's kind of true, but I mean, I don't know. I kind of like the gender a little bit. I like the binary just a little bit, dog. I don't know what to tell you. Having boobs is cool. But I sort of started experimenting with it. I experimented with different names. That's how my name came about. Originally I tried some stupid name. It was like Fern or some shit. It was like a forest plant. And I was like, not having a name that literally means male leader in another language is actually kind of nice. I'd rather not have that. And having pronouns that weren't male and not identifying myself as male was nice.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I like got into my senior year, when we finally went back to in-person school, I sort of dressed as such. I threw on even more feminine clothes because at first because like in early high school I was just like a twink who would just wear like the occasional odd feminine thing, but I just looked kind of gay. It wasn't like I was telling people, yeah, I am not a man.
Hmm.
I wasn't outright saying that. But once I got to like senior year, I was just like, fuck it. Maybe I am a they them. Maybe my name is Asia. I solidified
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah, and I was happy with that for a while. Like almost a solid like 2 years. I was incredibly happy with that. I told my parents, my dad, he's like the edge lord atheist type.
Mm.
Like the type of person like who's on like atheist Reddit. Like he's all about the facts. He's incredibly unemotional, but he understands facts. He understands 1 + 1 = 2. My kid wants to wear girl clothes. Why should I give a fuck? So plus my parents, by the time I had finally nutted the fuck up and just told them, my sister was already like dealing with her own thing. Not to like sidetrack, but I told them my dad was incredibly accepting. My mom, like, I don't want to say mourned, but it was weird and passive aggressive to say the least. And it was worse for my sister because she's very much a shoot first, ask questions never kind of person. So they used to get in fights all the time about it because my sister knows how to poke people's like buttons. Me personally, I was just kind of annoyed by it and just moved on with my life. It's like, why would I give a fuck? I got these hater blockers on. Hater blockers being raver goggles I bought off Amazon so I could dress more like a character off the Matrix. I should have known something was up when I started. Like Jesus Christ! I should have known like I wanted estrogen and FFS the moment I started dressing like Trinity from the fucking Matrix.
Mm.
There was still like a point in my life where I legitimately was wearing a leather jacket and like fucking like I was wearing like leather clothes and giant boots and like fucking welder goggles and like walking around because I wanted to look like the explicitly female character who was explicitly an allegory for trans femme like stuff when I was like 18 years old. I should have known that like there was more to it than like they them pronouns, but I didn't, and I denied myself that because that meant I had to change. I couldn't chameleon my way out of existing if it got too uncomfortable. If I said I am a woman, in the same way I said I'm non-binary, it's a valid identity, and I'm somewhat happy that I experimented like that. But like, if I was still non-binary right now and I still use they them pronouns, and it was just like the outfits I wear, what I do with my hair and makeup, I could take all that off, put a suit on, walk in, and I could be dead name Diaz Pender and not have a single problem. I can't do that now. Clearly, I have been on estrogen for almost 2 months at this point, and yeah, but like college started and that didn't go well either. I probably should have taken a year off when I started before I started community college. I needed to get my shit together before I did that, and I didn't. I met some, I'll say, supportive people. Maybe not in the way they probably should have been, but that's a whole nother story. I met some more supportive people. More supportive being like the bare minimum. And they were my friends. That was my entire friend group until like recently. One of those people being my ex, and I spent a lot of time with my now ex and my like former friends, and I think having the sort of like supportive bubble around me to like think about that more often allowed me in a way to like think, hey, maybe the like self-loathing you feel about your body in this specific way isn't just like depression. Cause like I've been cycled through at that point I've been cycled through like 4 different like medications. I was like the my psychiatrist was throwing me on ups and downs and all this shit. And I probably am still depressed, but I can tell you one thing. I am less depressed now than I have ever been. Purely off the fact that I am starting to see myself, even if it's a tiny, tiny bit. I haven't been on hormones that long. Like just seeing myself in the mirror, even the tiniest bit, it's fixed a lot of things for me. But like there's still like there's still a gap between me figuring that out with my friends and me fully like saying it. And that was like this like nightmare like scenario where I was like, oh, so I actually don't like looking like a man. I don't like the idea of growing into my body and looking masculine. I don't like the idea of having a mustache and a beard and all that shit. I want to wear dresses all the time and I want the dresses to fit my body. And it like drove me into like a lot of bad places. Once I'd like dropped out of college, I did trade school, and trade school wasn't an accepting place. It was it was a transphobic nightmare. I wouldn't wish that place on my worst enemy. Fuck Lincoln Tech. But like that made it even worse, and then I ended up putting myself in a mental hospital through doing things to myself because of what I was feeling. And eventually, and when I was in there, I was like, I gotta make a change, and that change for me was being true to myself. Well, that was through the lifestyle I was choosing, and also being true to my identity, and that was saying explicitly, no, I am a woman. I want to be a woman. I want estrogen. I want hormone blockers. All that shit. I want it. And that's when I finally told my parents. Everyone who was close to me already knew. And like the rest is history. I know there's like a bunch more questions. I'm sorry.
No, you take your time. But that was it?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the most important thing that made you feel seen as a queer person and a trans person?
There's not a lot of things. I'm gonna be for real with you. There's some trans media, and a lot of it kind of fits into like a few categories. Just corny shit. Like the fucking Danish Girl. I watched it. I thought it was ass. Fucking that one movie that Billy whatever his name made. I don't like that. That was garbage. Garbage. And then there's like the trauma movies. There's good ones. There's really good ones. There's very well made trauma porn trans stories where it's, oh, trans person is very beautiful and having a good life. Oh, they're getting murdered or assaulted. Cool.
Oh my god.
Like Pose, amazing show. I can't watch it. It physically made me depressed in the first season. Um, there's stuff that's definitely made me feel seen, and maybe it's bad that certain things have made me feel seen because they're kind of like problematic. Like a lot of characters in like animes that are kind of like weirder shit. Um, like fucking the fucking yo-yo girl from Guilty Gear, dumb shit like that. But like I can I can like I can't even pinpoint the first time I've seen a trans woman, like specifically a trans woman. I've seen trans people, like I've seen multiple trans people, but never trans women. You never see trans women. I think there should be a new Bechdel test. It's, can you have one trans woman exist? They don't even have to say anything. Can the trans woman be there? And you pass the test. And I assure you, 99.999% of everything ever made will fail that test. I'm like whining about representation. I don't really care all that much. Make what you fucking want. If you want more trans representation, go make it. You have hands. If you have hands, if you have a mind, make that shit yourself. No matter how fucking cringe it is, make it. That's my advice. But like things that made me feel seen, they're never things that explicitly like say it out loud. Like, I saw the TV Glow. I know that's like kind of what your project is about, but like, banger fucking movie. I love it. There's stuff where I'm like, huh, that's the kind of woman I want to be. I'm like, yeah, I want to be that. Like Alien, I like Alien so much because it's an entire movie it's an entire series of movies about body horror and like the most boss bitch alive. Like fucking Ellen Ripley, I want to be Ellen Ripley. I want to be Ellen Ripley and I want to get cloned so I can have gay sex with a robot in a giant spaceship. Nobody is going to deter me from the fact that Alien Resurrection is Yuri fanfic of the first two Alien movies. But
oh my god.
Anyways, weird Alien Yuri fanfic tangent aside, music's always been my safe space, if you can even say that. I'm into like metal and shit, so like there's not that many of us. The lead singer of Against Me, very cool person. Laura Jane Grace, Laura Jane Grace was the first trans person I ever saw, and I was 16 years old. I never really liked folk punk, and so like Against Me never fully appealed to me. But because Laura Jane Grace was like the only trans person I knew of, I was incredibly obsessed with that. And The Matrix. I've always been obsessed with The Matrix because I clocked that there was gender things going on there, kind of early on, and I related way too much to Neo and Trinity. I really wanted to be Trinity. That, a more recent one, like when I fully decided, like the moment I fully decided I want estrogen, was watching CU Space Cowboy music videos. Like I See You Space Cowboy is now my favorite band.
Is she on Estrogen?
Who?
The lead singer.
Connie? Yeah, Connie's been on Estrogen like for years.
Oh.
Why?
Because I just was wondering.
I mean, I didn't know that. I just knew
Oh.
I just knew she was trans, and I knew the songs all had real gay-bo vibes.
Oh.
But no, there's this song called "Armed with Their Teeth" by See You Space Cowboy. Their lead singer is a trans woman, and I saw their music videos, I saw their live performances, and I was like, oh, this is me. This is the vibe I want. Like I want to be a Teasler, but not like I don't want to. I'm not like. I'm not trying to be like I'm not like other girls, but like I'm not like going to a drag show. Not because I don't think it's cool. It's just like not my scene, really. It's not something I'm interested in. Same with the like sort of like soft queer. I'm on Tumblr and I watched fucking like Cartoon Network shows and shit. I don't think there's anything wrong with that either. I have the same interests as that, but I just find it boring. The thing that's always sparked my interest was edgy ass 90s art, fucking death metal, like beat down hardcore, real stupid meathead shit. But like I want to be like the girl that does that. Like seeing the women at a metal show has always like made me jealous because I wanted to be that, and now I get to be that, and I'm kind of like happy about that. So like seeing someone else mirror exactly what I want to feel and what I want to do, it made me feel seen in a way nothing else has. Like when I went to see You Space Cowboy in like the dingiest venue imaginable. Wow, it was like a religious experience, genuinely. I've never felt so like actualized as a person that like exists and that other people are like me and exist like me. Even if it's not a lot, I know they're there. Yeah. We need more trans people. We need more really gay people, like really trans, really gay people, to start making emo metal bands. We need more of them. I'll play bass. I know nobody's gonna hear this, but hey, I'm kidding. But seriously, more gaybos and bands, and more gaybos making the shit they want. Instead of complaining on fucking Twitter. Y'all are corny.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay. How are you living with your identity currently?
There's this is an interesting thing to say, because I will say I'm out fully. The only place I'm like actually not out is my current job at Royal Farms, and that's entirely because it would be inconvenient to change it now. It would actually cause problems. Not just because my like bosses or whatever, I doubt they like would give a fuck, but like I swear to God, the same like 10 to 20 people come in every single time I'm on shift. And that's not a conversation I plan on having 20 times. Like Jim the crackhead who comes in to buy new shorts, trying to tell me that the shorts are doing sex operations on aliens or whatever.
What?
Like, dog, I don't care. But no, seriously, I'm out in every way imaginable. I'm trying to present myself more
Mm-hmm.
as like what I want to be seen as,
Mm-hmm.
like put myself out there more, I guess. Like hey, you gonna notice that I'm a woman. I'm not gonna like shy away from it, but like the hoes still wear sweats, so I'm still wear sweats, dog. Sometimes sweatpants are just comfy. But yeah, that's about it.
Um, so that was more like environmental. How are you living with it internally? If you wanna,
Internally,
if you wanna get into it.
I'm gonna be for real. Gender dysphoria is a bitch.
Mhm.
Anyone who really wants to like be the gender be how do I say this? Anyone whose birth gender doesn't align with their like that's me. That's not the best way to describe it. I'm gonna be honest. Anyone who is like physically transitioning with hormones and all that shit, they will tell you that like the change the realization that you want to and need a change, and that it's necessary for you to keep living to like exist. I from all the people I know, they'll tell you it was life or death for them. And I'll say the same for me. It was life or death, literally. And I think for every agonizing feeling, every like sort of like deep down insecurity that's come from my own feelings about my identity, even after, specifically after uh, me taking hormones, I'll say I'll for every like I'm trying to figure out how to say this. For every insecurity that I have now, I will take that 100 times over what I was feeling before.
Oh.
Like like I know the change, and people who are on hormones will tell you that the change is agonizing and slow and a little bit scary, and you don't know what you're doing, and now your body's doing weird things that it's never done before. So it's a lot. It's a lot to unload on any person,
Mhm.
especially someone who's like 20 years old and barely got their shit together. But do it. If you're asking should I go on HRT, the answer is 99.9% yes. You will feel better about yourself. You will feel more whole, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And I don't know. I'm happy with my current identity.
Mm-hmm.
Um, even if I'm incredibly pessimistic about it in my day to day life.
Mm-hmm.
That's just because I'm kind of a grumpy bitch. But yeah, I love myself. You don't even love yourself, ho.
Stop. Okay. What are your goals in life, identity related or not?
Um,
Or you can do both. Like just life goals and identity.
life goals. Life goals. I'm in sort of a rut right now, but I'm trying to live that artist grind. I want it real bad.
Mm.
Um,
I'm kind of get.
learn how to write songs that
Mm-hmm.
people actually want to listen to, and make more of the gay art that people complain they don't have.
Mm.
Because why be annoyed that I can't find the thing I'm looking for if I haven't made it yet?
That's true.
Um, Goals in terms of my identity, I don't know. I think I sort of like hit the finish line of getting the titty skittles, and now I'm like, I beat the Mario game of getting gender affirming care that modern society is like placed on trans people. And now I'm just like, where do I really go from here?
Mm.
I feel because like I'm at like a sort of like rest stop point where once you get hormones, there's a solid like 6 to like 12 months before there's a next step ahead.
Mm.
Like before, it was the agonizing and genuinely depressing wait that was like getting the stuff
Yeah.
and like talking to people and calling to make sure they know you're on the list and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like they had me like, it's not like they had me like talk to a therapist who's gonna tell me I'm an AGP or whatever. But like, I still had to like, I still had to go through all the, I still had to help jump. I still had to jump through the hoops, get help jumping through even more hoops, and even then had other people have to jump through hoops just for me to get the stuff. Very thankful that my dad is super cool about this. He's not cool about much else, but he's very cool about this. Um, yeah. In terms of my identity, my goal is to just be gayer.
Okay.
Be gayer. I'm the bad trans person.
Mm.
You're gonna have to deal with my ass. Yeah, I'm annoying.
Okay. And did you want to give a message to any like queer people that like in any situation, like if they're young or older, maybe they haven't came out yet, or maybe they're afraid to make that change or anything,
Yeah.
or even to your younger self?
The threw a lot of things out there.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, be yourself, and not just, and don't just be yourself in the way that's comfortable for other people and yourself. You should never you don't need to lie to yourself for others or for your own sanity. It's not going to get better if you do that. A lot of the times, sort of the trans affirming and like queer affirming advice is it gets better.
Mm-hmm.
I've never ascribed to that because shit doesn't get better unless you make it better. Unless you scratch, claw, and beat the shit out of the world until it gives you what you want, you're not gonna get it. Real shit. And so yeah, I'm just gonna say it. If you want something from yourself, if you want something from the world around you, hey, every time I see a person who looks and acts like me, they're a villain, they're a joke, they're subjected to traumatic and torturous experiences. Make it yourself. Make it yourself. Or find other people who want to make that too and get with them and make it and then go make it. You can do that. If you want to be trans and you want to transition and you want to do that medically, and people aren't allowing you that access, whether it's healthcare, whether it's like the poor for-profit healthcare, or you live in a place where they're not giving it to you, or you're with homophobic family. I can't say that. Do it through completely legal means. I am not telling anyone to do anything illegal. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If you feel, and lastly, if you feel like the world is like literally coming down on you, because it is, It is sometimes, especially in certain places in this country. It is. Um, I don't. I guess this isn't like the PC way to say it. I hate the word PC, but like this isn't the nice way to say this. It's the way I was always told to say it. Nut the fuck up. Nut the fuck up. They can take. They can pry. I'm gonna tell them. They can pry the estrogen out of my cold dead hands. They can. They can. They can stop. They can do. They can't stop me from being me. Also, last thing. Also, last thing. More trans people in bands. More trans people making good music. I know it's like a thing. Trans women make music a lot. Give them motherfuckers guitars and drums. We need more transgender drummers. I'm being silly, but seriously.
Okay. Did you? Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Be gay, do crime, and I mean like actual crimes. Pirate everything.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, thank you so much for this interview.
You're welcome.